so much for being here. I am so grateful. Your time is so valuable, and your choice to be here, your attention to be here is not just good for you. It's not just good for the people in your life. It's good for everyone you affect. It ripples in a way that you can't even imagine. And it matters so much to me that you chose to trust me with your time, your attention, and I will honor that today. Here's what we're going to be diving into. First, we're going to connect you to your purpose for being here, your purpose for doing this work, why you care, you specifically. Then I'm going to be teaching you about the scene method. So I'm going to break down the scene method and what that is. Even if you know about it, you're going to hear new things. And even if you haven't, you're not going to be behind. You are in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Here are the 4 things. See, quickly about the scene method. When I first started creating the method, it was not a method. It was just for me. And I had no idea how impactful it was going to be. I was just trying to make it through the day and stop resenting people that I'm supposed to love. I was just like, this is not, I know I shouldn't feel like this. What's going on? But it turns out the stuff that I'm about to tell you, the stuff we're about to do together, that took me from literally planning my own death to being so obsessively in love with life and with the people in it that I changed my career and I dedicated all of my waking hours to sharing this with others. These are the 4 pain points that we're going through. Number 1, you never feel like enough. No matter how hard you try to say things perfectly, to do things perfectly, you still end up feeling like it never works. It's just you feel unseen, you feel unheard, you feel unsafe, and you're like, I'm doing everything. I am giving everything. How is it still not enough? The second one, boy, oh boy, is this not relatable? It's like every time you have a feeling and you're trying to share feedback, they either get defensive or they shut down. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with this? How are we going to connect? The third one we're going to be tackling today is resentment. This one might be my favorite. I love working with people and who have decades of resentment where you're like, they never change. They never change. I can't trust them. This relationship is too good to leave, but too hard to stay. We keep getting stuck in the same old past patterns. What is going on? That one's juicy. And then 4, I'm guessing this is most of you here, because if you are a person who does the work, who understands, who thinks, and is like, you are the caretaker, you are the thoughtful person, you often feel like your needs just never get met. You're pouring out constantly and you're doing so much and you hate feeling needy. You hate feeling like you bother them. And then sometimes you dare to have a need and it just doesn't get met. What you're about to experience today is super similar to the 8-week class that I run. So my goal for today, my primary goal for today, is to honor the time, the attention, the trust, the open-heartedness that you are bringing, which means I want to give you at least one thing, hopefully more, that you can personally use to make your relationship specifically feel the way you know they could. I want you to have one thing today that immediately changes you and your life and your relationship. So how we start is not with my story, but with yours. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to find your pen and your paper. If you're down to use a pen and paper, if you want to use your computer, that's okay too. Whatever your best note taking is, pen to paper is powerful. It does something to your brain. It's just awesome. What I want you to think about first is, why is it important that you chose to be here? For you. Not what's my purpose, what's yours. Because today isn't about me. You didn't come for me, you came for you. And I like that. I want that to be true. So why is it important that you chose to be here? While you're thinking about that and writing that down, why is it important for you that you chose to be here for those you love? And finally, if you want to go here, if you want to go this deep and this big, Why is it important that you chose to be here for the world, for your impact in the world, for you, for those you love, for the world? Now synthesize what you wrote into one sentence. If you could sum it up into one sentence, what would that sentence be? That's what I want you to spend this time thinking about, writing about. Why is it important for you, for the people you love, and for the world? Okay. My husband, I love him. He's the best. He went from being the most amazing, hilarious, brilliant, incredible, cannot believe I'm with this man, to the most annoying. And I was like, why? Why do you have to leave the cabinets open all the time? Why? This is not, I couldn't laugh at his jokes. I was like, what? What is wrong with you? I was so annoyed by this man that I had not long ago thought was the best thing in the world. And I was like, what is happening? And I got so scared because it was the first relationship that I was like, oh, no, this guy's a good guy. I mean, I literally dated a convicted murderer, ex-drug dealer in the past. I had very good reasons for leaving most of the people that I left. But this guy was like a wholesome home inspector. So, too good to leave. He was very nice. He was kind, but it was getting way too hard to stay. I was exhausted. I never felt like I was enough. Those 4 things that I said at the beginning, like, he never changes. I just started to have resentment. I felt like I was always pouring from an empty cup, but my needs were never getting met. I was sleeping next to a stranger and I was like, what's happening? I don't want to be this nitpicking, eye-rolling partner, but I am becoming her. And I feel like you deserve it, honestly. That's where I was at. And then I realized, and this day was like a total 180-degree turn. I realized that when I don't feel seen, heard, or held by him, my brain, without me choosing to, stops seeing, hearing, or holding him. It just stops. It's not a choice. Rationally, I'm still like, I'm going to be loving. I'm going to be kind. I'm trying to make that choice, and my brain won't let me. Why? Why does this happen to so many of us? Because we get tired. We are the most common feeling is just that exhaustion. Like you are constantly giving, you are constantly pouring from an empty cup. And the reason we do that, it's like we stop trusting the person we're with because they might say they love us, but where is that? I don't feel it. I feel like I should feel it, but I don't feel it. And the key to this realization on this day was that I thought it was all his fault for not seeing me. But how could he see me if I wasn't letting him? Because I believed my role was to fulfill your needs, to make you feel loved, to make you feel seen. I don't need anything. Are you kidding me? When I have needs, I just seclude. I go alone. I take care of my needs and then I come back. That's what I do. That's what I was doing with my partner. And it was especially true with my partner, especially true. When I'm with him, I'm like, well, I definitely shouldn't have needs. I definitely shouldn't have feelings. So then when I did have feelings, they were massive because I was like, I shouldn't feel this way. God, no. Well, I was trying to get him to convince me that I should be allowed to feel what I was feeling. And he's just like drowning. He has no idea what to do. I thought it would be so selfish and so needy of me to ever need or want anything, to know how I felt, to know what I wanted, to know what I needed. Well, then, ooh, that's bad. That's a bad wife. That's a bad person. That's definitely a bad woman. Like I could never. And a lot of men have a really similar narrative. They aren't supposed to feel things. They're not supposed to want things. They are supposed to fulfill, do, give, be a good man. And so all of us, at some point, most of us were taught, suppress that. Suppress that. Don't need, don't feel, don't want. Your job is to give, which leads me to our first practice in today's class. Dr. Bree very accurately wrote, your most frequent complaint about a loved one reveals your greatest emotional need. not their greatest flaw. Your most frequent complaint about a loved one reveals your greatest emotional need, not their greatest flaw. For me, in that story that I just told you, I needed so badly to be seen. I needed so badly to be heard. I needed so badly to be held and to be loved and to be accepted exactly as I was instead of who you wish I was. And I thought that was all because he wasn't giving me those things. I wasn't giving them to myself either. When I saw me, all I did was criticize. When I heard what I was saying, all I did was wonder if it was the right thing. And when I even had the thought of holding myself, I was like, ugh, gross, dude, no, mirror work? No, I am not about to think positive thoughts about myself. What if I become complacent? What if I become one of those people I don't like? I'm not doing that. No way. And it was making it so he could never do that back for me. I was hiding. And I didn't even know it. And most of us were taught that. Most of us were taught that to be worthy of love, you actually shouldn't accept love. Somebody needs to love you so hard that you are forced to allow yourself to be loved. And that realization, that shift of, oh, love is a door locked from the inside. I'm waiting for him to unlock it, but he can't. I have to believe that I deserve these things. I have to believe that I can give myself these things. And then I get to turn to him and invite him in. I'm going to tell you how to do that, how to start doing that soon. But before I get there, what I actually want you to do is not think about yourself. Think about someone you love. I want you to think about someone. Close your eyes and bring a loved one to mind. Closing your eyes is not necessary. It just helps me personally to not get distracted. Maybe it's your partner, a family member, that person that you're really confused about because they say that they love you and you say that you love them, but they're like not really wanting to commit. Whatever situation you're in, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your mom, it's that person that's just bubbling at the top of your brain right now. That person, hold them in your mind. Now we're going to think about something that might make you a little uncomfortable. That is okay. That is by design. Discomfort is welcome. Whatever feeling comes up is welcome. Once you have that person in your mind, think about what you've noticed that they complain about. What do they complain about? If they're a person who doesn't really complain, but you feel it, when is it that they seem the most upset, frustrated, shut down? When is that happens the most often? You've probably heard these things. You've probably heard, you don't help me enough. You don't support me. I feel like I'm criticized all the time. Nothing I do is good enough. I don't feel valued. You make everything about you, which is AKA nothing is ever about me. You've heard it. You know what yours is. Choose one. Choose one complaint. One consistent moment that they seem to, it just keeps happening. Now, what do you think this one complaint reveals about their greatest emotional need? When you're ready, if you've got your eyes closed, you can open them, grab your pen and your paper. Think of a loved one. What do they notice? What do you notice? Complaint. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a couple minutes to answer this. Actually, probably 1 minute because you just did so much thinking that you can shorthand an answer because I really want to honor your time. So we'll do 1 minute in here of just soft music for 1 minute while you write down those answers in a way that when you look at it, you'll go, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. All right. 1 minute starting now. see some faces writing. I keep looking at your face. Yeah, it's here. Give me a thumbs up when you've got it. Okay, thank you. Love those digital thumbs up. Okay, nice. Great. Okay. I've got a question for you. Because the type of person who comes to something like this, you are a pretty solid person. You're a person who cares about relationships, who cares about being a good person. Because good people who care about how others feel often fall into feeling like, okay, well, once I know their need, I need to fill it. Once I know what their feeling is, that's something I gotta fix. We gotta fix the bad feelings in the people we love. And it's a really, really good impulse. And a lot of us swing so far to filling their needs that we stop getting our own met. Like the story I told at the beginning. And once you run on empty and once you're out, you say things like I did, which are, well, no, it's not a big deal. No, I didn't mean that. So as soon as they say a feeling, you're like, no, but you're essentially saying you shouldn't feel hurt because I didn't mean to hurt you. Just listen to my intention. Just listen. Stop it. Stop with the emotion. I am telling you the truth and you're not listening to the truth. Listen to me and then you will not be upset anymore. And then they do, if on the rare chance that they actually listen, they are more upset. You're like, wait, what? And that's because what we're accidentally doing is we are saying, I don't deserve for you to feel hurt because I did everything right. I didn't know that. That's definitely what I was saying. And that's what makes them defensive. That's what makes us defensive because we are asking them, without meaning to, we are asking them to be a lawyer. We are saying, you don't deserve that feeling. Now defend it. But first, hear my defense. So they're listening to you like, you just wait. I am going to show you how much I deserve this feeling. And that is the real reason we bring up the past. You ever been in a fight where the other person's like, why don't you let this go? Or you're like, why won't you let this go? Because they're feeling right now, they don't think is going to get validated. But they remember something in the past, or they have a pattern from the past that will make this feeling big enough that you'll actually hear and accept it. That's the biggest, most common reason that we bring in the past, that we talk about patterns, that we say always or never. It's because we're afraid you're not going to listen to me unless I say the right thing. So when you're a good person who cares about helping other people feel better, we tend to start seeing other people's negative feelings, their needs, as our failure. I mean, I was not doing good. My husband is a grump, okay? He swears at 6 inanimate objects before he leaves the house. He's like, the microwave is a piece of crap. I'm going to say nicer language, but there's a lot of swear words before he leaves the door. And I'm like, Dan. And the first few years of us being together, I was like, you have got to chill. You cannot be this grumpy. Like, you cannot. And what was happening, my whole body would get tense. He would come home from work and he'd be like, everybody is an idiot. I don't understand how so many people can be this stupid. And I would be like, okay, well, that's not how I choose to live. And then, yeah. Then I realized what I was doing is that as soon as he had a negative feeling, I went, okay, I have to drop my entire life. I have to stop everything. Nothing can go back on until I make you feel good again, but you're pretty determined to feel bad. So it's going to be a lot of work. And I was so resentful about him being grumpy, not because the mood was wrong or the feeling was unjustified, but because I was tired. I didn't want to have to make him happy all the time. And that was making him feel like he had to hide. Like the only thing he was allowed to be around me was happy. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, hold on. Maybe my job isn't to make you happy. Maybe my job is just to love you even when you're not. And the truth is, he did the same thing. Every time I had a negative feeling, and this happens in almost every couple that I work with, every time that I had a negative feeling, he would get tense and uptight and he would be almost mad about it because he took my feeling, my negative feeling, as evidence that he wasn't doing enough. And he would say things like, can't you see how much I'm doing? Can't you see how much I care? Like, what more do you need me to do? It was all this fear that I loved him for what he did and what he gave, not who he was. Most of us have some version of that fear that you love me because of what I do for you, for what I give to you, not for who I am. And so when our partner has a negative feeling, we're like, okay, I got to scramble. I got to do more. I got to do better. I got to do more, do better. Because we're taking their feelings as our responsibility. And we're so scared that if we don't fix it, then it's proof we're not good enough for this relationship. It's proof that they're going to leave me. And the irony is, what we actually need in that moment is acceptance. We just need acceptance. Like, yeah, it's okay. Of course you're grumpy. That makes sense. And instead of fighting like lawyers and talking like lawyers, defending our feelings, we talk like scientists. And how we do that is not, now some people handle this by saying, I'm sorry. They say, I'm sorry so much all day long. Just, I'm sorry. And that dynamic just gets separate. And you feel like awful. I mean, one of you feels like you can never do anything right. The other one feels like they're always let down. That dynamic happened in couple after couple. I'm going to call this couple Alex and Amy. Amy is trying all the time and she is constantly apologizing. And Alex is constantly like, just change your behavior and then we would be okay. Just change your behavior and then we'll be okay. And Amy can never get it right. And she dreads every conversation with Alex because she knows it's going to be about how she got it wrong. And Alex is frustrated because he can never get Amy to talk to him. And when they came to me after decades of doing this, we started playing the mirror game instead. It is essentially seeking to understand before being understood. So the next time Alex got upset, Amy went, oh, so you're feeling really upset. That makes sense because XYZ. What am I missing? And Alex immediately was like, yeah, right. That is why I'm upset. And now here's the key, okay? Because I'm guessing a lot of you are Amy's. A lot of you are Amy's. You're the kind of person who shows up here and is willing to fall on the sword and say, I'm sorry, and take all the... Most Amy's will be like, oh, thank God, I kept the peace. Done. And then they walk away before they get understood. And you may already do this. Some of you may already do this. Some of you already may be amazing at validating other people's feelings. And you don't know why relationships still exhaust you. And the reason is you need to be seen, not just for your good, but for theirs. When you're an Alex and you're triggered out of your mind and you feel validated and you get calmed down, if you stop there, what just happened is Amy made you feel like your perspective, your triggered perspective, was the only one in the world. It was the true one. You're right. She did mean to hurt you. You're right. Things are bad. You're right. It makes you feel like you're right. But if Amy goes, that's not actually how I experienced it. Do you mind hearing where I was coming from? And then shares her perspective. Now Alex, feeling safe, can actually hear her perspective. And it makes him feel safer because, oh, you didn't mean to hurt me. Oh, you didn't. And he can actually hear it. All that stuff you want to say, like you shouldn't feel hurt, I didn't mean to hurt you. This is when you get to say it. And it freaking works. It works so well. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. The mirror game is incredible. And my favorite way to get into it are these 3 questions. I'm giving you these 3 questions. These are my favorite. Okay. 1, you see that? That didn't feel good. What was your intention? 2, I'm feeling defensive. Can you share that another way? And 3, This is my favorite. This is one I use the most. This is the best one for the mirror game, in my opinion. When you just said that, I thought you meant this. Can you clarify? This one, you can use at work. You can use everywhere. That one is phenomenal. It helps you in two ways. One, it makes your voice heard and you're not abandoning yourself. You're saying, hey, whoa, this is how I just got impacted. And you're also giving room to question, like, okay, but where were you coming from? And they end up questioning themselves too. Because what if they were coming from a bad place? What if they did have bad intentions? You just call them out in the gentlest way. They're really, really powerful. They are, I don't think I have them written out, but for the chat, we will have them in an email after. That's what we'll do. Okay. Those are so powerful. Now here's something that's awesome. Nearly all of my clients cannot do this. Given the information that I just told you, when I tell it to you, you think, no brainer, got it. On lock. I can do that. That's simple. No, probably not. Here's why. because nearly all of my clients have the same, we're all human. We care so much about the person we love the most. And we care so much about that relationship so much that sometimes we can't open our brain. We can't open our brain to hear their perspective. We can't seek to understand them yet. And that is where Scene comes in. That is where Scene comes in. Because I thought I was incredible at controlling my anger until I got into a committed relationship. And then I was like, you are literally putting me in a car. You are driving me to anger. And then you turn to me and you ask me, whoa, why are you mad? You drove here. You've been here the whole time. How do you not know why I'm mad? How do you not know? You have to know. And I was so upset with him so often because I was like, how do you not see? And then I realized, okay, I know that anger, resentment, frustration, those are always protective emotions. If he's not actively trying to hurt me, what am I protecting myself from? And I realized most of the time I was triggered. He had stepped on a landmine and I was yelling at him about the explosion, or I was shutting down and being like, I can't trust you because of the explosion. But to him, it was a grassy meadow. He didn't put the landmine there. He just stepped on it. And in the past, I thought that meant, okay, well, now you know that landmine's there. Just don't step on it again. Don't do it again. You know that triggers me. You should never do that. You know better. No. This is the incredible thing. This is my favorite thing about working with couples. This is why I love relationship work. This is why I think it is the bravest, most powerful thing to be in a committed relationship, because traumas were created in relationship. So that is where they get triggered, and that is where they can heal. We do not uncover triggers to avoid them. We uncover triggers to heal them. And my husband, I love him so much because when I learned this and I invited him on the journey, together we healed things I didn't know could be healed. The Scene method asks 4 questions. SEEN. When I get frustrated, when I have resentment, when I get those, that feeling, that like protective, get away from me feeling, or I'm going to get you feeling. I ask 4 questions. 1, what am I scared of? At the root of it, what's the fear? What am I afraid is going to happen to me if I don't get big right now? If I don't shut down right now? Dude, this one's so real. What am I embarrassed about? How many times you told a joke, nobody laughed, and you turned to your partner and you figured out a way to make it their fault? You say the thing and you're like, oh, nobody liked that. But, and now you're being mean to somebody. That embarrassment makes us do all kinds of things. We hide, we deflect, we reject. We call other people needy for being around us. That's me. The short version of that one for me is I was recording when we were first dating and Dan was in the room. And I was just like, by the way, we lived in a 400 square foot studio apartment, and I'm recording, and I'm like, this man is so needy. He just doesn't give me space. I mean, like, why? Why does he really have to be here? Does he have to be here? Yes, it's a 400 square foot studio apartment. Like, where is he gonna go? And I am getting tense, and he can tell I'm getting tense. And I go, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. I grew up believing and being taught when I brought something up, the response was, or I showed you something I was doing, the response was, ooh, that's it. So in my head, I went, never be seen in progress, only be seen in perfection. My husband seeing me in progress was a huge trigger. And I was blaming him. And I turned to him and I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry I've been such a dick. I was so embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed. And he goes, okay, I'll leave. And I was like, no. Don't leave. I want to heal this. Just be here, and I'm going to be messy. And at the end, I still want you to love me. That's it. That's what I mean by healing the trigger. And then within 2 weeks of doing that, not only was I recording in front of him, I show him every video I post and ask for his criticism. And he will say, he literally said to me 2 days ago, no, that one's boring. And I was like, great, thanks. Because the reason we hate criticism is we think it's the same as rejection. And when you overcome that, oh God, it's beautiful. Okay, the third one, expectations. What was I expecting? Was I expecting you to respond with enthusiasm and you responded with not very much? Now I'm going to be mad at you. Most of the time, we don't know what we expect until we feel disappointed. There's so much more to say about expectations. There's resentment there. There's the way you were raised, the love you were taught. There's so much. In the 8-week class, we actually go through and find yours. Because most of the time, we resent people because they are doing something that we ourselves do not feel allowed to do. And a lot of the time, we get that belief from childhood, not from the relationship, and we don't know it. And in the class, we dive into that for you and heal places you didn't even, oh, it's so juicy. And finally, unmet needs. What did I need? And if you look at the question that we asked before and you heard what I said after, you'll notice the first step to getting your needs met is opening the door. It's meeting them yourself. If I don't see me, you're not going to see me. If I don't hear me, you're not going to hear me. If I don't believe that I should have needs, you're not going to be able, no matter how hard you try to care for me, I will never let you. And this one, I have to tell you this. This one is the most important to me. And this is the reason that I'm talking about it today, is because this is the one that most people need to hear. Until a specific, I hate telling this story, but I feel like it's so important and I'm going to take extra time to do it. Until this one Thursday in a skyscraper with my second panic attack of the day, I would have told you the best thing about me was that I was an independent person who needed nothing, that I was loving, but never really needed to be loved. But I had gotten to the point that what I thought about every day was why? Why do people choose to live? Why do people choose to live? Why? I don't get it. Everyone who's happy is supposedly pretending to be. And everyone who's not happy is obviously not happy. So no one's happy. Why? Why do we even live? This is ridiculous. And I walked out of that skyscraper thinking that I was pulling off looking normal. I am sure my face was red and splotchy. And I go to my computer, and to get out of my brain, I hit play on an interview, a random interview with people I didn't even know. And it was Sebastian Junger talking about military veterans who had come back from the war, and they were having my symptoms. They were having panic attacks, depression, suicidality. And I was like, I don't understand. Why? And the reason that they were having these extreme responses was not just the trauma they faced. It was the fact that they were trying to heal it alone. I was trying to heal my whole life alone. I was trying to do my life alone. I was trying to give, and never actually connect. And what is so powerful about this story is that if I hadn't watched that, I wouldn't be here today. And I don't just mean in front of this camera talking to you. I mean, I wouldn't be here today. I called that day I called my mom and my best friend, and I finally told them how hard of a time I was having, how isolated I was, and I changed my whole life. And it became all about connection. And it became, this scene method became everything I did. Not just acknowledging the pain that I had, but letting it be witnessed by somebody and daring to believe that maybe they'd still love me. And my husband has healed things that I didn't know could be healed by just loving me still. And the people in my life are the same. And I want to share that story because so many of you don't know how necessary it is for your needs to be seen, for your pain to be seen, for you to be witnessed. That is what unlocks who you are to this world. That is what unlocks true connection. And a lot of you here are the people who need nothing. We need you. And we need the opportunity to be with you as you fulfill your needs. Now, what I want you to do in the next couple minutes is I want you to hold yourself gently in your mind. I want you to close your eyes and hold yourself gently in your mind. Whatever version of you needs to be held, that's who you're looking at. That's who you're holding. Now notice, what do they complain about frequently? What do they ask for frequently? Every answer they give you is accepted. It's good. Now, what do you think that complaint reveals about your emotional needs? This version of you that you're holding, what does he need from you? What does she need from you? What do they need from you? I'm going to give you a couple minutes to either sit with that version of you and give them that need if you can, or just hold them in not knowing what they need. Just hold them. Or use this as a journal time. Now, if you're not at the place where you're like, "Ooh, I want to answer that, I don't know," that's accepted too. If you have a pen and paper, what I want you to write on that is, "I don't know, ... And that's okay. Because it is. Whatever resistance, if you feel resistance, if you feel confusion, if you feel love, if you feel whatever the feeling is that you have right now is exactly the one you're supposed to have. I'm going to tell you about that 8-week class now. Because I am really sick of seeing so many people feel so unsafe and so unsettled and not loved for who they really are or for your whole self. And I get the honor of seeing clients come to me, and I get to work with them to heal that. And this class that I'm talking about, what we did today is very similar to what we do in the 8-week class. I want you, before I tell you more about that, I want you to realize how special and brave you are, because a lot of our society wouldn't do this. They wouldn't show up here. They wouldn't do this work. They wouldn't care this much. What you're doing right now is brave. It's courageous. And people are so afraid of this that they'll just pretend they don't even have feelings. What you just did is really powerful. Okay. So the 8-week class, the way that it works, well, before I tell you the way that it works, I want to tell you what it does. So it's very similar to this. I don't need to give you a lot of explanation because you just experienced it. This is what we do. We do it for 8 weeks, and we go piece by piece through the scene method, and we take each tool, each letter, we make it yours so that you can use it in your life. And the response that I get, my favorite response, we keep trying to manhandle ourselves into being better and caring more and doing things. No. It's removing that stuff. The comment I got this week from one of my clients was, This is a man who started by saying, I have no idea what I want, need, or feel. I'm not even sure that I have those things. In 3 weeks, he goes, I'm not defensive anymore. I'm not trying to not be defensive. I'm just not. What is this? I don't understand. This is not supposed to be a heavy lift. Relationships are not supposed to feel heavy. They're supposed to be a place of energy and lightness. And the reason that they aren't is that we have all this weight and these expectations and these things we're supposed to do. I'm trying to, we remove those. The tools that I give you, the Gottman method, the attachment theory, that I took all of those things and I knitted them into these 4 questions, this one mirror game tool, and then little tools to help make that work, to help heal you, to help so that we can really make you feel free to be yourself in relationships. I recommend to my personal clients often that they take this class either before working with me or instead of working with me. Because first of all, 6 months of weekly therapy, if it even works, which often it does, couples therapy is a little dicey. I understand. As a person who's a relationship coach and is considering that, it's a lot. It's like you often leave feeling even worse. You feel like you're fighting for who's right and who's wrong. When I did couples therapy with my husband, I went from thinking I was sleeping with a stranger to being like, I'm sleeping with the enemy. And I'm going to prove he's the enemy in the next session. You just watch. I mean, I was keeping the list in my head. I was going to prove how he was the one that really is the problem. It didn't work. So this is, if you're ready to heal that, you want to heal, because really healing yourself within the relationship is what heals the relationship. Letting the relationship be a source of the healing, that's what works. It's not all of this. You got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do more and you got to be that. No, we lighten the load, my friend. So yes, 6 months of therapy is, $4,800. It depends who you're going with. Obviously, divorce, expensive. Let's not do that. And if you're single and you're like, thinking about meeting somebody new, kind of doing a partnership, this is all spoken in. What we're doing and is very much in relationship. So if you do this, you can definitely do it on your own. And when I give you things to practice, you just choose somebody that you're going to practice them with. And the reason I say that is because if you're coming alone and you're in a partnership, congratulations, you are like me and my husband. He's not a class guy. Cares about it, wants to do it. But I didn't learn this with him. I did this with first my family, and then it rippled into my husband. And now he loves learning this stuff, but he doesn't do that. He's not a class guy. And about half of the people who take this take it on their own, with or without having a partner. So you will not be the only one in that situation. My favorite review, I think the person who said this is here today, and it is my favorite response I've ever gotten, which was, I cannot believe this is so simple. I'm actually a little pissed because it's been decades. We did Gottman, we did attachment, we did all of the stuff. I just threw that all out because after 3 weeks of this, we've had more change than ever before. I am pissed. And then she says in all caps, because I am so close to death, for F's sake, people need to know about this. And I was like, can I quote you? She was like, yeah. And that's the review I get the most often. It is simple. There are reviews on the website too. You can see there's one woman who came and sent me a note halfway through, and she's like, oh my God, this works. I am forever changed, forever grateful, because not only did it impact my life, I told my best friend about it. I did it with her. She did it with her husband. They were about to get a divorce. Now they're better than they've ever been. This works. You will not just impact you will impact everyone in your life if you use this. These are not just tools for your romantic relationship, because you are actively healing yourself in the relationship. It cannot help but ripple. If you're interested in doing this, there are 2 versions of it. You'll see more reviews on the website. If you're curious, you should have all the information you need there. There are 2 versions. One, there's only 16 spots for. That's what we're going to now. Look at this. It's the intensive version or the VIP version. That's just a small group with me taking you through it. So I'm directly coaching you. The group is very small. So I talk to you every time. I go into your breakout room when you're practicing something. I watch. That's how that works. The intensive version is the same content. I just won't be in your breakout room. I might still get to talk to you during the thing and during the class. And I try to make sure I answer every question I get before the end of the class. So your questions will all be answered, even if I don't get to be in your breakout room. That's the way the intensive version works. And from a pricing standpoint, the VIP is, wait, I can't see it. It's $19.97. Mom. My mom's the one in charge of scrolling. The VIP version is $19.97. There's only 16 spots, but the intensive version is $597. It's only $600. So that's for if you're thinking about a couple therapists who's $200 per session. I tried to make it as affordable as possible while still being able to cover everything. So that's the class. It is the greatest honor to get to do what I get to do in that class and to see people bond and heal each other. And the way that I get so moved by how my husband has healed me is not uncommon. Like that is the experience. You stop abandoning yourself. They stop abandoning themselves. It's just the most beautiful thing. And what we're going to do now is go into the Q&A. Cozy in. We are in the Q&A section now. My mom is going to read your question. She's going to be your voice.
Hey, y'all. What is the quickest and easiest way to rebuild trust in ourselves and our partners?
Okay, amazing. Oh, yes, I was hoping somebody would ask something like this because I wanted to dive in. Okay. What we tend to do when we're trying to rebuild trust is most people who come to me is a private session, right? They are like, I don't think that we can be connected and I don't think we can rebuild trust until we resolve these issues. The betrayal, the decades of neglect, think of the biggest things. I've seen them, okay? And they think, and I made the mistake when I first started, okay, let's tackle those and then we'll be good. No, terrible idea. Terrible idea. What you actually need to do is put patterns that you're certain are true, betrayals that have happened. You make a pact with each other. We are going to talk about these, but we're going to wait until we're really good at talking. Because otherwise, we're just going to reinforce it. That's why it keeps getting bigger over the years. Every time you talk about it the same way and it gets bigger, which proves that you're right, that they do suck and you shouldn't trust them. So then you talk about it again. And you know what? More evidence. This is not right. So what we do is make an on ice list with my couples. And when we do the 8-week class, I have you do that in that first class. The things you're always talking about is an on ice list. And you'll notice like throughout the week, you want to bring up the thing and you and your partner go on ice. Okay. On ice. And I say on ice because it is very important to talk about those things, but you have to build trust first. And the way you do that is by talking about things one time, one issue. So, because otherwise what you do is you go, hey, you didn't take out the garbage and you never take out the garbage. And you grab all of this evidence and you point at this mountain of evidence that you deserve to be upset that they never take out the garbage. See, look, I deserve this feeling. But what they hear is, you're not capable of change. You never have been and you never will be. Don't you see my mountain of evidence? And then of course they get defensive and of course all of that stuff. So what we do is talk about one time, one issue. And it's hard at first and then it becomes very helpful. So you're like, hey, last night the garbage didn't get taken out. That made me feel sad or that you were scared that you didn't really care about me. What was really going on? Back to those 3 questions. That didn't feel good. What was your intention when you said or did that? What was really, and you talk about it right then and you do the mirror game, which in the 8-week class, I help you remove the barriers to doing that. And then it becomes just the way you talk. And then you do the mirror game and you really understand where you were coming from. That starts to build trust between you and it builds trust within you because what you did in that moment, you didn't abandon yourself and you didn't act like they had control over you. We accidentally break trust with ourselves a lot when we are demanding something from someone else, because what we're saying to ourselves is, I need them to change or I won't be okay. I need them to change or I won't be okay. That is not something you say if you trust yourself. So when you're like, hey, this thing made me feel like this, where were you coming from? You're honoring how it felt, and you don't need them to change for you to be worthy of having that feeling. You don't need to point out a mountain of evidence for you to be worthy of having that feeling. That rebuilds trust. That is more important in a hard conversation than convincing them of anything. It's just showing up for you and being like, I don't need them to change in order for me to be lovable and accepted. I have so much more to say, but I realize we have more questions, so I'm going to stop there.
It's not really a question, but Tanaya or Tanya, I'm not sure how to say her name, says, I took your class, Morgan, and it's been fantastic. I came back as just love your passion for this work. It's absolutely works out everything I have learned this past 5 years. This is the only thing that has brought me the most results in my marriage. I'm still learning and I'm still trying to apply, but each time I do, it works. I would thoroughly recommend this for any of you that are thinking about it. It's actually priceless, not just to your relationship, but to all your relationships. I'm sorry, I'm so teary-eyed. I just get to be a firsthand witness to the work. And thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful. So, sorry. And then a very practical question that I don't think we really addressed, and I think we need to put that out there. Do couples during the 8-week intensive together need to purchase the course or the class twice? Because it's not really a course, it's a class that includes the course as part of that curriculum. And the beautiful answer is no, we don't want you to. We actually encourage you. We want you to do this with your partner. So it's one price for both of you. Regardless if you do the VIP experience or you do the intensive, as part of the checkout process and you complete your registration, you just add that second person and they will have their own access to all the resources, the ebook, the workbook, and the course, so that you can both track on your own. You know how you start a course and then you stop and then you go through. So you're not even sharing the same login. You have your own login that you come into, and then you join the sessions together, the live sessions. So just wanted to clarify that. Have you ever worked with couples where one partner shows narcissistic traits? How does the scene method apply in situations where empathy and accountability are harder to establish?
I have, and it sucks. It's also usually more nuanced than we think. So my goal with the scene method and what I'm teaching you with the scene method is more about you than your partner. It's not about getting your partner to be or feel or do anything. It's more about you showing up for yourself and you treating yourself. Patrick Teahan was asked, what is the defining symptom of childhood trauma? He said, trying to get a difficult person to be good to us. What I am trying to do with the scene method and trying to teach you with the scene method is being so good to yourself that good is the only kind of treatment you accept. What I'm trying to help you learn is that how do you treat yourself so well that when somebody doesn't match it, you're like, what the heck is that? What are you talking about? That's not what? That's what I hope to teach everyone. I do not guarantee that I don't remotely even say that you're going to heal somebody else's stuff. I'm saying, I want you to take this tool and use it for you and become somebody who doesn't accept that, and probably use other resources in addition to get out of if it's a truly abusive relationship. It's too many people in one class for me to give you the care that you need. So if you're in a truly abusive relationship, that's bigger, more personalized resources.
Question, more of a logistics question. Is there a start and finish date for the 8-week class, or can you start at any time? So
it's live. It's like this. It's live. It's not any time. Oh man, I did not say that well. It's like this. So yeah, there's a start and there's a finish, and it's 8 weeks of live sessions. So we do eight live sessions, and then that week you practice the tool that we did that week. And you also have videos. You have the replay from that day, and then you have course videos that are written in Q&A style. So if you're like, wait, what was that one? I don't want to watch the whole replay. I want to watch 10 minutes about that one thing. You can go find it.
Yeah. And the start date is September, depending on which way you go with experience or you go with intensive. The first Saturday class is on September 27th.
Mm-hmm.
The first Tuesday class is on September 30th. And then it's every Tuesday or every Saturday after that. And I think it ends like the beginning of November, somewhere there, whatever 8 weeks is great. Now you do have access to the course. That's those videos that you're talking about, and you'll get the ebook right away. So the moment you purchase, you'll get those things. But then the real session work, which is where the real gold is, and then everything else is like a tool and a resource to go with it, is after that. Okay, I have an avoidant partner. Thank you for that question, by the way. I'm sure everybody's asking the same one. I have an avoidant partner. Can the mirror game and scene method help?
Yeah. I mean, I've been the avoidant partner and I've had them. But they have to choose to be there. And what I was saying about the narcissistic situation too, the core fear of avoidance is really misunderstood. My friend Eli Harwood, who specializes in attachment. She wrote the book Raising Securely Attached Kids. She's genius. She explains it really well in that the misunderstanding is that avoidant people are afraid of closeness. No, that is the thing they long for the most. They are afraid that they are too much. They are afraid that if they have needs, feelings, wants, now they've failed, now they've let you down, they're never going to meet your standard. It's that overwhelming burden. They cannot be, but they don't want to be a burden so badly that they'll be like, you're a burden, you're too much. That is usually whatever you criticize your partner for tends to be the thing that you're afraid to be. So if you criticize your partner for being a burden, often that's because you're terrified that you might be one. So with avoidance, it works if you have an avoidant partner in that you start to realize that. What is the underlying fear that I have that I'm bringing to this relationship? What is probably going on for that person? And is the treatment that they are giving me what I want to accept in a relationship or not? You start to figure that out by practicing. Like the mirror game it's not about agreeing. It's about understanding. It's about really empathizing with and understanding and then going to yourself being like, okay, now that we really understand each other, now what is the next best step for me?
All right. This one you may want to pass on. I'm not sure due to time. But I have a feeling you'll be able to do it quickly, and I think it'll be really helpful to everyone.
Okay.
Would you be able to model what validation sounds like, or how you know or ensure that it lands for the other person?
Oh, okay. Ensuring that it lands for the other person is impossible because you cannot control somebody else's response. It's just not going to happen. I wish, my God, that would be amazing. But no, we cannot control the internal worlds of other people, which sucks. So, but what validation sounds like is, I'll give you a story. Okay. I was working on a project all day. I'm like working on this project. I hit almost the end of it. My husband, who is the primary cook in our house, he's incredible. He knocks on my door and he's like, hey, you almost done? And I was like, yeah. I didn't come out for 90 minutes. He had cooked. Okay. So by the time I get to the kitchen, which by the way, I'm flying high. I'm like, I can't believe it. This was an all day project. I finally finished it. I'm doing great. I walk into the kitchen. My husband is slamming the microwave door much harder than needed to be slammed. He is putting plates on the counter like this. I'm like, oh, we all been there. Okay, what do we do? So I start scrambling and I'm like, no, whoa, oh, hey, why are you so upset? No, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I did it, which is not working. And then I'm like, okay, what's happened? At this point, I still haven't figured out that I said I was almost done and it took me 90 minutes. Still don't know. And he goes, you said you were almost done And then you came out 90 minutes later. And then I said, I laughed at him. Terrible idea. Don't do that. Don't recommend. So then he gets madder. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And I start scrambling again. And then I stop because I know this stuff and I've done the scene with it. And I go, oh, he can't hear me, right? Because what I'm trying to say is, I was so blind to time, I didn't even realize it was 90 minutes. I laughed because of course you thought I was coming up in like 15. I took 90. That's ridiculous. I'm laughing at the situation, not you. He's not hearing any of this because he hadn't felt validated in the pain he had just felt for 90 minutes. So I stopped. I took a breath and I said, what did I do that was hurtful? He goes, you said you were going to come up soon and it was 90 minutes. And I was like, that makes so much sense. You were cooking. Of course, you probably feel really frustrated and like, I don't even care about all the stuff you're doing in the kitchen for me. Like, that's got to feel awful. And he was like, yeah, it does. And before that, he would not look at me. So there's validation one, but he still seems off. And I go, what am I still missing? And he goes, you laughed at me. And I went, oh, and that made you feel what? He's like, I don't know, like you were mocking me or making fun of me or something. I was like, oh God, you felt like I was making fun of you. Now notice right now, I'm really wanting to say, but I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the situation. It's not going to work yet. So I explain how he's feeling, why it makes sense. He's like, yeah. And then I go, and this is the important part of the mirror game. Second, a very important part. That's not what I was experiencing. Can I share where I was coming from? And at that point, he finally says yes. Now he's like looking at me and he cares. And I go, I laughed because I hate when you're upset. And I thought maybe I could turn it into a joke. I was just uncomfortable. And I am saying that I'm laughing at the situation, but I'm not really. I just don't want you to be upset. And so if I laugh or I make a joke, maybe you'll forget that you're mad. That's why I left. And he was like, okay, I get it. I do that too. And then I go, and I genuinely thought I was almost done. And I didn't mean to lie to you. I feel super guilty about that. And I was trying to not feel guilty. He was like, I get that too. And he reflect. And that's what validation sounds like. That is a really good example of using the mirror game. And then if you go even deeper into scene, my husband was bullied as a kid. So me laughing at him when he's feeling something is the worst thing I can do because that's what bullies did to him as a kid. You know, we can dive deeper for you personally in a class if you're doing it, but that's an example.
And then there was another question. List of topics are going to be in the class is one of the questions. It's listed on that sales page. There is, somebody asked me a question. Wow, I got so many questions coming in. What was it? Oh, what is the schedule? There are recordings for every live session, but you really want to be there live. That's where the transformation really happens. Anybody that's been in this class before, I think they would 100% agree that, in fact, this last class did not want to stop. So we ended up creating a way for them to still continue on after that 8-week class. So that's where it really happens. So there was another question about that start and end time. Oh, are there multiple start days to the 8 weeks if you're not able to make the first one? No. There is, the start date is the start date. Schedule.
It's within the week, but yeah. Like it depends which day you choose, but it does start on that week.
Yeah, but you're assigned to, or you either choose, if you're in the VIP, you're choosing either Saturday or Tuesday. And then that's your class every week. And if you have to miss one, there is a replay because life happens. But live is definitely the way.
I think the
intensive right now is only on Saturday. If we have to open it up for another day, we can, but it's just on Saturday right now.
And if we get enough requests that, hey, Saturday's not good, then we'll do a second one.
But I also help with Morgan's schedule, and she has very little time. So we do that. Okay. Oh, time of day. So again, we ended up Each time we have people from around the globe that are coming to this, which I know makes it very difficult for example, if you're in Australia. And so obviously it's probably not going to work for you. So then it would, you would have the recordings, but the live on Tuesdays for the VIP is at 11 o'clock a.m. on Tuesdays, and it lasts for 2 hours. Eastern time, New York time.
Mm-hmm.
Do the conversion there of what that would be for you. And then for the intensive, that's Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. And for the VIP, it's 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Another question is, can you heal or start healing if your partner isn't on board?
Yes. God, don't wait for your partner to heal. Hello. No. Yes. 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 You do not need permission to start healing. You do not need your partner to start healing. You do not. No. You deserve to heal whether or not your partner is on board.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. And another logistic question. Do couples need to be in the same room? Yes. If you're taking the class.
Yeah. We make it a little gentle on you. We don't dive in. Like the first person you do the mirror game with is not your partner. It's somebody else. So you get to practice it in real with somebody else and be like, okay, now we're going to try it and we're going to do it over a neutral issue. And then we guide you there. We build up.
Great. And I would say just because I help with the tech all the time, so I'm kind of monitoring that. I think what's been surprising to everybody is they thought they wanted just a private session with Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
And then they found out it was, I think, better, the combination, because they didn't feel alone.
Yeah, because they're all like, oh, we all have the same stuff. Like it's just we have such similar triggers. We have such similar responses to it. I totally get what's happening right there. You can watch it happening, and you're like, oh, that's me, that's him, that's her. Oh, it was really cool. You probably experienced it in your breakouts today, where you went, ah. I want to go back and answer that question from the beginning. I want to say one more thing because I wanted to say one more thing, and this is when you're rebuilding trust and you're healing resentment, mistrust is welcome in the room. Like we're not going to talk about the whole mountain of evidence, but we are going to be like, yeah, of course you don't fully trust me. Of course I don't fully trust you. Of course, that's why we're here. We are simultaneously, I get to hold the fact that, yeah, I'm not sure. I still have some mistrust. And I'm willing to try something different. I'm willing to talk about this one issue, even though I'm a little scared that I can't trust you. That's welcome. You don't have to blindly pretend. You're not pretending that all that stuff didn't happen. You're just not letting it force you to keep repeating it. I don't want to say that. You're allowed to not trust your partner when you're learning to grow together.
And then the other thing was, if you and your partner are in different spaces, physical spaces, and you join remotely from two different places, is that possible? And the answer is, we have that happen a lot. In fact, sometimes couples who are in the same house end up going into separate rooms and joining on two separate computers, just because that works best for, not because they're angry, just it worked better. So you can definitely do that.
Sometimes because they're angry. Let's be real. Often not, but it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. And there's a question about a mentor. I'm not understanding that, but I think I know where they're going. Regardless of which package you purchase, not package, but if you do the intensive or you do the VIP, that the course and all the materials are included in both. The only difference is that if you're in the VIP, you will receive a hard copy of the workbook. But and for intensive, it's just digital. We do not accept insurance. We're not in that place.
Ask me an emotional question. Come on.
Okay. This is a good one, and has been my problem. How do you do that without the other person feeling like you're treating them like a little kid?
Oh, great question. Wait, which thing though? um, when you're teaching, I'll just answer it for everything. Here's how you do everything without treating them like a little kid. You're not telling them how to do anything. You're not giving them rules to do anything. You're not being like, you need to do anything. It's all I statements. It's all I want to speak like this. So this is how I'm speaking. I want to be curious in our relationship. So I'm going to be curious. When you start to shift into treating them like a little kid, it's because you believe that they have control. It's so ironic. They have control over you. You're like, I need to convince you to talk like I do, to act like I do, to do what I want you to do, or I won't be okay. It's back to that. So it's going, okay, here's the standard I'm trying to live at right now. Do you want to join me? And you respect the no. If they say no, if they're not involved, they don't want to do it, you're like, okay, noted. As soon as you shift into parent-child, that's really what's happening. You're shifting out of boundaries into demands. Instead of, how do you explain? I'm like, we don't have enough time to tell a story. So I'm trying to explain this in a short way. We do a whole session on this in the class, the difference between boundaries and demands and how to do that. But demands sound like you need to do this, you should do this, you never do this, you always do this. Why don't you do this? Can't you make me feel like this? It's all you statements. Boundaries sound like, here's my vision. Do you want to join? That's a gentle boundary. And here's how I want to get there. So I want to have really curious conversations. I believe we're capable of that. Is that something you want to do? Here's how I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to try this mirror game thing. Or I want to talk, when we talk about big issues, I want to do it when we're really calm. So I think I'm going to start taking time outs when it gets big. Do you want to join in with that? Like, if you want to walk, if you want to pause too, I want you to take pauses. What do you think? Do you want to join me on that? If they say no, you're like, cool, I'm still going to do that. If the conversation gets loud, I'm still going to walk away. You don't have to, but I'm going to. That's the difference. And it's so freeing for them and you, because if you can really get to that space, you're no longer they don't feel rejected. They don't feel controlled. They feel accepted. And you are proving to yourself, back to building trust with yourself. Oh, I got me. I don't need their permission to get me. For instance, my husband got super triggered. I said I wouldn't tell you a story. I can do this one short though. My husband got really triggered last Sunday. He got triggered by his parents, and then his nephew was doing the video games, and then his sister was being all over the map with the lunch, and then it was like a whole bunch of stuff. And he snapped at me for an illogical. I was keeping the baby really happy so that there was nothing else on his plate. And he was like, you need to eat. And I was like, I actually already ate, so you can eat. He was like, no, sit down. And I was like, oh, okay, buddy. And after that dinner, because it was with his whole family, so I wasn't trying to shame him, I just like looked at him and I went, okay, this will be a fun conversation later. And after we had dispersed and I was talking to him, I said, your feelings were so valid. All of this stuff happened. It made you frustrated. Of course. The way you treated me because of those feelings was not. Full stop. I wasn't trying to convince him. I wasn't doing it. It was about showing up for me. And because I wasn't trying to control him, you can feel that in the energy. The point of our conversations is not to convince the other person of anything. It's to convince you that you are worthy of being seen and heard and held, and you are worthy of being in that space. And when you do that, you have a way higher likelihood of actually being seen and heard and held by the other person. And you just did it for yourself. You just saw, heard, and held yourself. And then he like snapped out of it immediately. But that's an example. I wasn't parenting him. I was holding me. I was parenting me. And that made him rise up and be a partner. It was really, he's had to do the same thing to me. Let's be fair. I don't mean to throw him under the bus. I've been way worse than him. I hope you noticed that from this talk. I hope you noticed that's usually me. Okay. We are officially overtime and my childcare. I got to go get my baby. So.
If you have any questions at all, the email is support@goodmorgantherapy.com. And that'll come directly to me and the team. And we will take care of you and answer all those questions. So support@goodmorgantherapy.com. And thank you for your feedback. Thank you for the questions. And I'll turn over to you to Morgan.
Thank you so much for being here. I actually just want to say thank you to you for being here, for doing this. Even if the stuff we told, the 8-week class is not a great fit or time or finances or whatever, the fact that you were here is so important. And it means a lot to me that you trusted me with your time and your attention and your vulnerability. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to the team that made this possible. Last minute, we had to do so many things to make this work for this many people. And thank you so much. This is so beautiful. Okay. Goodbye, guys.